YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. We're going to be watching Azag take on Kolek, and the Warriors of Chaos army with Kolek has the Swords of Chaos, which is a really cool unit. We've got a Death Sorcerer, 3 Chaos Spawn, including the Matt Damon Spew. Love someone who submitted that name there. Oh, and 3 more Forsaken up front, so it's a whole 6-pack of Forsaken. We got a Feral Manticore and an Exalted Hero on a Manticore. So Chaos, no armor per se, but they're going to have a pretty hard hitting army, but they have 4 Black Orcs in the center, as well as a Giant. Not going to be an easy kill, and these Morgrub's Mangy Marauders could be very useful here if they can keep themselves away. Azag can Spirit Leech, but he's going to have his hands full here. Good for Azag is that he's fast. That's one thing you got to remember. Oh, and these Rusty Arrows, they don't, yeah. This Feral Manticore is not going to want to stay around all these archers. The Death Sorcerer has taken some pretty significant damage already. Was it an overcast somewhere? I don't know what the overcast would have been, but he's taken some damage somehow. Maybe he got Spirit Leeched by Azag. That's probably what it was. Fate of Buna here on the Black Orcs. Good call. He might be able to pin Azag if he can use all of these flying units, but those Mangy Marauders are going to be a pest. Like an absolute pest. Azag's going to be using, he's getting Spirit Leeched and he's being chased. He's going to have to stay on the run. This Sorcerer cannot stick around. There's 3 Gobbo Archers. Here comes the Forsaken. This, Damon Speed's about to take probably a Fate of Buna. Yep. So Fate of Buna incoming. Manticore finally gets into the Mangy Marauders, but it is not in a good place because there's big uns around. And here comes the line of Forsaken, and the Demon Spew just getting absolutely wrecked. But Azag being kept far away from the battle, and now here comes the Knights of Chaos, which is armor-piercing and anti-infantry, just the type of unit that the Chaos Warriors need right now, to be honest. It's like Doom and Darkness being used. But it's not enough to break the Greenskin main line. A very nice lightning strike there from Kolek, doing some pretty intense damage. Still archers over here. Yeah, it looks like the Manticore is going to go after them. The Giant is going to be a little bit difficult to answer. These Swords of Chaos got some pretty decent work done. Now they're trying to pull through a unit of Black Orcs, which I don't think is going to help them very much. But they don't want to get too bogged down there either. Those Swords of Chaos have a punishing charge, and they kind of got surrounded here. They should have pulled out in the opposite direction. So they tried to pull out with Kolek, which is not necessarily a good call, but they are shielding Kolek from some damage, but they are being destroyed because they're trying to pull around the battlefield with him. So I think Kolek and the Swords of Chaos should have been decoupled a little bit in order to make them more effective. Kolek could have fixed enemies and left them open for a charge from the Swords of Chaos, maybe, because they would have been a very useful unit here. The Forsaken should do good against Orc Big Uns, and I mean they're not going to be perfect, but they'll be pretty good. Swords of Chaos still have a unit model stuck out over here. Can't get out of combat. Yeah, got killed. But the Swords of Chaos came back. The Chaos Sorcerer is dealing with some archers. Kolek is being fired at, but these archers aren't going to do much to Kolek other than slow him down a little. There's still a number of Forsaken here, and then there's still a unit of the Swords of Chaos tangled up in this combat, which is probably part of what's pulling them back this way. They can provide a little bit of defense to Kolek as long as they remain in battle here. So I'd almost think that you just want to keep them safe. Keep them from getting killed, keep them somewhere near Kolek to keep buffing his damage resistance. Swords of Chaos once again just trying to pull through all the infantry. Oh, that Manticore charge was right on target, and then Kolek comes over to just squish the Gobbo Big Boss. And these Morgrub's Mangy Marauders are probably going to finish off the Swords of Chaos. They're under fire. So this is going to end up being relatively close, but there's still a very healthy Giant here. And the chase for Azag hasn't gone great. He does get Spirit Leeched again. Azag Once he gets Spirit Leeched and lose life, then he's just losing it. The Rusty Heirs get taken out. Swords of Chaos somehow still alive. Not exactly sure how. Oh, and he doesn't dive down on these Morgrim's Mangy Marauders. May have had an opportunity there. Alright, so Kolek's going to come in against the Giant. See if he takes a lot of damage. Again, the Swords of Chaos route, so that aura that would help Kolek so much is going to be gone. Mangy Marauders still have ammo. These Gabo Archers still have a ton of ammo. Not sure if Chaos can fight their way out of this one or not. It's going to be interesting. I don't want to underestimate Kolek, though. He's a very capable melee fighter. And he took some buffs recently. He's got the help of a couple of diving units, and he's going to quickly dispatch the Giant. Very quickly. Gabo Big Boss is back here trying to save these archers, but I don't think the Gabo Big Boss is gonna, yeah, he gets terrorized immediately. And actually now this is looking pretty good for Chaos because Kolek can catch these archers. And he needs to because they're gonna tear apart his armor. But Azag lands right here, and when you have a target that juicy, you just can't say no. Ooh, Kolek took a nasty hit there though. Azag's going to be forced to flee. These archers are going to be silenced by the Manticore. The Mangy Marauders are almost out of ammo. There's a few Forsaken left back here chasing units. And Kolek should have enough hit points to finish this thing. These archers will not get away from the Manticore. Well, I mean, there are 2 units of them. They should split up and try and divide and conquer there. They might actually accomplish it. No sense in chasing the Mangy Marauders. They've only got a little bit of ammo left. Kolek might as well just go somewhere else. There's more units here for the Greenskins, though, that need to be pulled back into combat, and these archers need to be chased all the way off the battlefield because stuff like this, those armor-piercing arrows from the Rusty Heirs are absolutely critical right now. Nice. It's a pretty distant shot there. Yeah, again, there's no sense in even chasing the Marauders at this, or yeah, the Mangy Marauders. They do rout from Kolek's presence, so I guess it wasn't all for naught. Gabo Big Boss is going to rout. Azag is running away from a Feral Manticore once again, so it leaves him unable to support these armies. And now it's just quite a few archers, which, like I said, Kolek should be able to mop up, but these Rusty Heirs here are going to be able to get some clean shots on the Chaos Sorcerer, I believe. They are not firing, though, which is a huge mistake on the part of these archers, because it's going to let the Manticore... I thought it was going to... Yeah, he's going to charge right in, so huge mistake there, not getting off a volley. Yeah, I think Kolek's going to swing in here too. So it's going to be over for these archers. I'm surprised Azag hasn't tried to Spirit Leech away that Manticore that was pursuing him. Maybe he didn't have enough magic. But this should be a mop-up process for Chaos Warriors right now. Kolek should be able to help. Now remember that the you can't terrorize Black Orcs. They can lose their leadership, but you can't terrorize them. Another lightning strike from Kolek. Rusty Heirs being hunted down. Greenskin units just keep coming back from routing. I do think they kind of get TKO'd though. If you get knocked out of combat 3 times, then the unit shatters. So that will be happening, and it's going to force the end of the match. It's a fun match. Good job, Void. Interesting that you came up against all that armor with the Forsaken. And then, of course, you ended up being able to defeat it, the Fate of Buna. The Flyers were interesting there, especially since Greenskins went with Azag. And that is a risk because Chaos actually has quite a bit of aerial power, and it is a risk. Maybe they just figured, though, that it would be a Shaggoth army of some type that he could help Spirit Leech and pile his way through. I'm not sure exactly. It was an interesting one, almost like he may have expected some infantry because those Black Orcs there. So, anyway, hope you all enjoyed this one. What do you think? What do you think of the matchup between Chaos and Greenskins? I think it's an interesting matchup, actually, because Chaos packs a lot of terror. The Greenskins are sometimes weak to terror, but the Greenskins have quite the arsenal of their own if it's used properly, and I definitely think the Greenskins are a Tier 1 faction. So, would be interesting to see what you all think. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll see you all next time.